Hello. Welcome to our next NC Web Dev Digital Marketing Series webinar. Today, we have a special guest. And before I get into all the details, I want to give still a little bit of time to people to get in here, log on, get their notifications, everything else, like I usually give about a minute or so. The freezing months of February are over. At least here in Raleigh. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully March will be a little better. No more heat and no AC. Let's hope for that. Keep it at 70 all year round. Kind of like in Costa Rica, or at least certain areas of Costa Rica. But anyway, our minute is up. So let's begin. So again, welcome to NC Web Dev Digital Marketing Series webinar. And today we're going to have a webinar on business coaching, and we're going to have a special guest that we're going to do an interview with, or podcast if you want to call it that, Kevin A Dunlap. Not to look for Kevin Dunlap because that's taken up by not so nice people, so not to be confused, a not so nice person. Was on death row, but anyway, that's part of our interview. If you watch with Jason Ho on YouTube, we put out just recently, is you're going to see the importance of branding, and it's part of what we're going to be talking about. I mean, how to separate yourself from people that have either the same name, same idea, same everything. But today's going to be about people who want to become entrepreneurs, switching from the employments and stuff where the life is structured, and then you get into business for yourself, and you're faced with completely different set of tasks and responsibilities, and it's not so easy, especially in today's world where you get so many layoffs. It's kind of hard, and then you're thinking, well, should I go look for another job? Or with so many layoffs, I probably will be better off freelancing or doing something on my own. But can you do that? Are you ready for that? Are you ready to handle the fact you may have lows and highs and not a steady weekly paycheck? Sometimes you're going to make more money. Sometimes you're not going to make enough money. Can you make ends meet? Do you have so-called the golden nest egg? You know, the one that just you have at least money in reserve, for example. Do you make enough phone calls? Because now you have to set up your calendar. I mean, all these things we could talk about, but the basic question here is, do you want to be facing this switch and changeover by yourself, or doing it on your own through trial and error? Or do you want help from somebody experienced? What we do at NC Web Dev is we help people that come in, want to invest into business, and want to do have finances set aside to invest into proper branding and marketing. You know, we don't do the teaching. We're not going to go with you and sit down and do personal one-on-one coaching on how you should go every single step by step. You kind of have to come up with an idea of what you want to get accomplished, and then you come to us and we'll make the plan. We'll do the digital marketing aspect for you, where you could focus on making your money. You do what you do, whatever the field is. You do your business. We do our business. Our business is digital marketing. But exactly something like these business coaches and somebody like Kevin, they can help you set you straight, help you get focused, find your target groups, find your business, what you're good at. I mean, you have to define it on your own. So it's a huge steps, and you have to take some huge steps. And it's always, no matter what sport you play, what discipline you go into, it's always good to have a coach. Somebody there who you could at least talk to. I mean, he may not come up with the greatest ideas, but he's there. You can talk to him. But through the conversation that you create, you and him together, it's like when I write content, I always ask, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's other people, even an article I wrote this week or the past weekend is, over the course of last week, is based on my conversations with people who don't know maybe what they're doing. So I'm trying to tell them, I'm trying to show them. And the other people don't have to be, for other people to be inspirational to you, They don't have to know what they're doing, but by them doing something and you're interacting with it, evokes more ideas. That's why it's always good to have a business coach. And it's always good to learn and change with the support of a team. Don't do things on your own. These are some of the aspects that are important in business coaching. I mean, number one, you don't have a 9-to-5 job. While that may sound great, it's not that easy. It's very tricky. For somebody who's been in the business for myself in various fields for 30-something years, I know what it is. And I never had a 9-to-5. So I kind of don't understand that whole concept of waking up at 7 every morning, having that structure go, coming home at that certain time, eating, doing something. The schedule is completely different. I mean, you basically have a free schedule to do what you want, but how do you manage that? Because everybody's given 24 hours a day. Everybody, whether you're the president of the US, whether you're the CEO of a company, whether you're an employee, you all have 24 hours in a day. The difference is, how do you manage that time? What do you do with your time? So that's just one of the top aspects. The next one I have is communication. Yeah, again, communication. How do you communicate to people? What do you communicate to them? When you come into a company, you get employed, generally you get a certain sense of like messaging, what you're supposed to say, who you're supposed to talk to. You get training on all that. Well, when you become in business for yourself, you become an entrepreneur, you don't get that anymore. You don't have a boss. He doesn't give you a set of guidelines. Oh, this is what you're supposed to say. If the customer asks you about question A, you use answer 25C. Well, not here. You're in business for yourself. What do you want to communicate? Again, can you come up with that on your own, or do you want help of a coach? The next part is working flexibility. Yeah, you could work on Saturdays and you could take off a Monday. That's a great advantage. But do you have the discipline to get the stuff done on a Saturday when everybody else is out, or Friday night partying, whatever? Can you be that strict with yourself? It's not always easy. And then, of course, it's the online presence. It's how do it's completely different. When you're an employee, you don't have to worry about it because you're part of a company. Company gives you whatever, some kind of a template for what you should use, what you should say, what you text. I mean, when I was being trained in the life insurance industry, I spent 3 months at New York Life, and New York Life, they gave us, you could either use on your LinkedIn, you have to use description A, description B, or description C. You don't have to worry about it. You just get that message. Now, doing it on my own, no, I got to come up with my own stuff. So how do you define yourself? What pictures you post? What do you say about yourself? What do you tell others? So that online presence and building your website and doing all this other stuff, that's important. Social media, of course. I mean, a lot of times you're gonna have to go through a system of scrubbing and everything else. So, online presence, and you want to be present at a lot of places. But the question is, can you afford everything? And part of that is also digital marketing, which is the last one. So, and that's what we do. I mean, that's why every week I spend hours every week just preparing the webinars and talking about other things and all sorts of aspects of digital marketing that would help you get yourself out there. I do it more generically. Somebody like Kevin, he works with people very closely, and you go to his events, he sits down with you, talks to you one-on-one. We'll do that too, but yeah, we're not, we would just kind of, you give us the stuff, we start using it. We start working with it. And something about Kevin, he's a serial entrepreneur for more than 20 years now. He wrote a couple of books, and he's the founder of OPA, which is the Optimum Performance Academy, which is an organization he started when after he saw so many people struggle making that switch from employment to business. So he'll talk more about that. And basic services they offer is the online courses, training programs, the classroom, private and group coaching, seminars and workshops. And again, he does have a couple of books available. He's available for personal one-on-one. He gives you an introductory free webinar, stuff like that. So, go talk to him. Now I'm gonna ask him a couple of questions. We have him here with us today. And so hopefully he'll clarify some more detail about what he does, and you'll get a better understanding. You can reach out to him. He's here in Raleigh, Durham. So now, without any further delay, let's go to Kevin. We got still a lot to cover. So welcome, Kevin. Are you there? Can we hear you? Sound check.
And hello, Crow. It's great to be here with you as well.
No, great. Thank you. Uh, Happy to have you. We met at the networking event, and I was quite intrigued by your story and by your business, how well it complements what we do actually, because a lot of your graduates can then come to us and we'll design the full campaigns for them. But I'm just curious, what motivated you to relocate to Raleigh?
In our reality, I moved to Raleigh shortly after finishing grad school. And at that time, I was actually being hired as a computer programmer. After a couple of gigs, I was working on this one project known as Y2K. Some of you may actually remember that. And I ended up finishing this one gig, and then I actually was end up being downsized. And at that time, I swore I would never work full time for corporate America again. I had left Raleigh, moved to Wilmington, and eventually ended up moving to Las Vegas, where I would live for over 18 years. In September 2021, I went to go visit my father, who was in the hospital at the time, to help him start to possibly liquidate his stuff, all the tools that he had, because he had a tool business. And unfortunately, a week after arriving where he lived, which was in Pensacola, he actually passed away. After some thought and selling all of the tools, buying a car, doing a cross-country trip, I came back in January of 22 to go sell his house, his car, and furniture and all that stuff. And that's when I realized, do I really still want to live in Vegas anymore? I have a brother that lives up in DC, another brother that lives down in Birmingham. And I said, well, I used to live in Raleigh back in the 90s. Maybe let me go back there and check it out before I go back to Vegas after selling my dad's house. I went there, I liked it, and about 2 weeks later, I ended up moving to Raleigh here. And I remember at that time when I was thinking of moving, there's an area known as a Research Triangle Park, or we just call it RTP in this area. And as being a business coach and business strategist, I was thinking about all the entrepreneurs that are working in RTP, like at Silicon Valley of the East Coast. And I was thinking this would be an ideal place. Plus, after living in Vegas for so many years, which is a very brown city, very rock and desert, that I missed how green Raleigh is, and even how green North Carolina is. So that's actually was the catalyst reason why I ended up moving back to Raleigh.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And yeah, I've been in Raleigh now. This is my third year. I came in the midst of COVID, April of 2020, and I've been here since. And no, it's great here. And that's why I have my life insurance practice and also now the digital marketing I do, NC Web Dev. So I'm very glad to be here. It's beautiful, wonderful. Temperatures awesome. No snow. That's a good one. So yeah, no, I totally get Raleigh's great. And to my next question, I understand you've been helping entrepreneurs succeed for a long time now. How is your project different than from all the other coaches?
Well, my new project is actually helping entrepreneurs directly, but helping them either start or grow their small businesses. You see, when I actually started my first business, I had no idea. Should I be an S Corp, a C Corp, an LLC? And I spun my wheels for months trying to figure that out. And I just started realizing how much time did I waste? How much time did I lose? How much money did I lose? Because I was just spinning through my wheels trying to figure everything out on my own. And I realized in 2022, like there's a lot of other people that are going through that same process. They have no idea what they're wanting to do, or they don't have any idea of how to do it. And in many cases, they're not even aware of there's even problems that they're even unaware of. So this is why I created my company, which is called Optimal Performance Academy, which is an education-based business, either through our online courses, through the books I've written, and even through our coaching programs. So my ideal is to help entrepreneurs, help them actually get clarity on their business, get clarity on their message, and how are they going to actually be building that business of theirs.
Thanks for that. And what can people who attend your coaching sessions expect to walk away with?
And in all actuality, I have four different types of group coaching. And this is depending on what kind of a business you're going to be doing, as well as what is your experience level. Now, out of the group coaching, I have one which I call the Business Kickstarter Solo, or I call it BK Solo for short. Is for those people who are wanting to have coaching, but they want to do it on a one-on-one basis. They prefer to have private coaching. This way we can tweak things in my program to fit what exactly that they are going through. Now, for those people that who want to possibly save some money, or I prefer a group coaching, we normally start off with the one that's called a Business Kickstarter Basic. Now, in the BK Basic, this is going to be helping people get clarity on their businesses, finding the right clients for their businesses, as well as teaching them how to build that business from scratch into something that could be even more successful. And then once you actually start having income coming in and you start making a good wage, then you can possibly go into a more advanced courses, which is I call the Business Kickstarter Prime and even the Business Kickstarter Elite, which are for those of them who are looking to possibly sharing your message on stage. You want to get booked on podcasts like this one right here, or you want to have a 60 or 90-minute signature talk that you're going to be in front of a room with 10, 50, 100, or even 1,000 people. So the BK Prime and the BK Elite are just not for those that are just starting out, because that's just going to be way too advanced. However, with the group coaching that we have with the BK Basic or even the private one with the BK Solo, I think we can help entrepreneurs to actually get past a lot of their problems so they can actually get out of their own way and build their own businesses.
And from your experience, many years of experience, how vital do you see the role of digital marketing in starting a business in 2023?
Okay, now that's a good question as well. And I see that being able to do things digitally or digital marketing is going to be critical. I mean, yes, you can go and open up your own brick and mortar store and sell baked goods or bicycles or whatever it is. However, you're still going to have that online presence. And this is why I do what I'm doing now, is that I'm helping people to make that, to actually shift into having a digital business, is because since COVID-19 hit and we started doing all these remote calls like through Zoom or Skype or whatever it was, the people have gotten used to, hey, I'm going to be working from home, or I'm going to be doing whatever it is that I'm doing, and therefore everything has to be communicated basically through on a digital interface. And this is also going to be true if you're trying to grow your business, especially if you have something that has an intellectual property or IP, because how people consume information right now is they may not even want to consume it while it's live. They may actually want to watch it when it's actually being was being rewatched at a later time. This is why having things like digital course is so important. I want to give you a personal example of what I mean by this. Back in 2010, I stumbled across this program called P90X, which was an at-home fitness program. During that program, I actually lost 60 pounds in 90 days. I went from 240 to 180 in 3 months. And I would say being able to consume that information at the time of the day that I wanted to, which could be different every single day. One day could have been at 9 o'clock in the morning, and the next day is at 7 o'clock at night. So being able to consume some digital products at my leisure is very, very important. This is why I am creating online programs, because I know that if I say, hey, we're going to have a class at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, you may or may not show up. However, if I give you that information, then you can watch it at your leisure. You can take breaks. You can say, well, this is an hour-long show. Let me do this in 20-minute increments. So what we're doing now, as far as digital marketing is concerned, or getting your information out there into a digital format, is going to be critical as you grow your business, especially if you're going to be doing something like, hey, I'm going to show you how to do it yourself, or you're going to follow how my coaching program goes, or how my yoga classes go, or whatever it is that you or I may be trying to get out to the public.
And I know when we talked, when we met at the networking event, you mentioned that you are also a self-published author. What kind of books have you written?
Well, at the time of this recording, I've actually written 4 books. They're all self-published. They're all on Amazon. My first book I wrote in 2015 was a book on real estate. It's called Lease Options Made Easy. Buying a home with little, no, or bad credit was the name of that. That was a subtitle for that book. And that book was all about lease option real estate, which is basically what I did for several years, either as a consultant, as a realtor, or even as an investor. And I wrote that book basically because I just wanted to write a book. I just wanted to say, hey, I'm a published author. And plus, I wrote that book because I was already doing lease option real estate. And I learned later on, but I guess I kind of realized at that time, is that when you write a book, you become the authority on that subject, or at least you look like you're the authority on that subject. And then I would learn later that the word author is actually derived from the word authority. So between two people, one that wrote a book and one that did not, giving everything else being equal, the person who wrote the book, assuming it was well written, is going to become the authority on that topic. Now, in 2016, I actually hired a book writing coach, and I came out with my second book, which is called Designing Your Own Destiny. And with that book, that was also an exercise book. That book was mainly based upon a lot of personal growth and personal development courses that I've taken over the years. And so there are a lot of self improvement topics that are in that book. Plus, also, it was my first taste of wanting to work with other entrepreneurs. So that book is also for entrepreneurs. In 2019, I wrote my third book, which is the one I mentioned a moment ago. It's called The Winner's Code: Secrets of the Winner's Mindset. And in that book, it was all about your mindset. I came up with 8 different mindsets that people can have. And then does it show up in your personal life? That means what is your mindset with yourself, with your wife, your husband, your kids, your best friends, the people that you go to church with? The second section of that book was, what is your mindset at work? This is going to be with your coworkers, so maybe the people that are your underlings or people that are your bosses. What is your mindset between those people at work? And then the last section of that book is, what is your mindset as an entrepreneur? Well, how are you dealing with your competitors? How do you deal with your clients, or with society, or with your vendors, or with everybody else that could be interacting with you and your business? And then, of course, my fourth book, which is called Launch: The A to Z in Creating a Successful Business. That book was based upon 10 or more years of attending courses, seminars, workshops, and all of that stuff on actually building a business. So that book, I come up with a concept that is known as the 7D method. That is going from, hey, I'm thinking about starting a business, all the way through the last D, which is, how do you duplicate yourself? How do you franchise yourself? Or how do you create your own certification programs? So that book is all about how is the logistical guide in actually building your business.
Where can the listeners here today find out more about these books? Are they available someplace, or just in the stores, or do you have them online in digital ebook forms?
Oh, and the last 3 books can be found on our website at the optimalperformanceacademy.org. In this case, just /author, and and then you can actually see the at least the last 3 books on our website.
No, I'm really glad to hear that, and I'm looking forward to reading them too. I mean, I will admit I have not read them yet. We just met recently, and like I said, I have you here because I was so intrigued with you and your work, and so I'm looking forward to exploring more of the content you created, whether online or offline. Is there any last words you have for, or an example of how your courses are put together? Can you shed some light on that, on how you do things? Sort of let us look under the lid?
Yes, I actually have a introductory course that I often will give away for free. It's called Roadmap for Business Success. This was our first program that we wrote, and it's gone through a few different iterations since I moved to Raleigh. It is also based upon one of my signature talks that I give when I'm actually hired to speak on somebody's stage for 45 to 60 minutes. And I do give away that one for free. It is our first online training course. It is also based upon our webinars that we've done as well. And the one that we are giving away right now is actually a recorded webinar that we did. You can find it on our website as well at optimalperformanceacademy.org/RM. That's RM as in roadmap. Or you can obviously, if you go to our website and go under services and see online courses or online classes, you will also see Roadmap for Business Success on the top of the pages there. And that, again, that's the one that we do give away for free. Now, in that course, or in that, I do give away 2 additional free gifts. So I would suggest go ahead and watching that course. Watch it until the end. It's only like 50 minutes long, and go ahead and take advantage of all the additional free gifts that I give. Well, it was nice being here with you, Karel. I hope you guys have a good day, and farewell to you and your wonderful audience. Thank you very much.
That was great. Thank you for that, Kevin. I mean, it was my pleasure having you here. It was great talking to you, and I can see you have a lot of insight into things, and I think there's a lot you could do. And I would definitely recommend everyone who's just starting or thinking about starting visiting your events. And yeah, to you people, check out the Optimal Academy, optimalperformanceacademy.org, and yeah, it's a lot of good stuff there, and may give you some inspiration. And once you get started with that, you learn the basics from Kevin, and then you come to us, and we'll help you grow more and faster. And yeah, we'll gladly be your assistants in growing your business. Now, this was more of a kind of a break from the nuts and bolts, which we're going to get back to next Thursday again. It's going to be more about no special guest, and it's going to be nuts and bolts of digital marketing and how you can tackle it better. And in the meantime, I mentioned I put out the article about, you can follow the NC Web Dev business page and the NC Web Dev online tech newsletter, where I try to regularly post some new developments or ideas on how to get involved in how to do network marketing, digital marketing properly. And yeah, you guys have a great Thursday, and I'll see you next week.